Yeah. Alright, y'all. Welcome back to the I Am Bruce Leroy channel. Patty cake, patty cake, patty cake. Alright. Before we get started with today's video, need y'all do a few things for me. Like, comment, subscribe, before I kick y'all ass. I better know I do already. Follow me on all my social medias. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Everything is at I Am Bruce Leroy, okay? You can also find me on TikTok at I Am Bruce Leroy, BIH. I do not stutter not one time doing that intro. Yay. Yay. Give me a bloody round of applause. Yay. Anyway, moving on. So today's video is going to be about the NFL draft. We're going to go over the first round. We'll talk about some bullshit that happened. Let me turn my shit down. Hold on. And I think maybe we're going to talk about maybe a few NFL events that happened specifically with some of our team. Because our team made a White House visit. And I'm going to give my thoughts about Saquon Barkley and the other guys decided to go. And Jalen Hurts and some of the other guys decided not to go. By the way, Chauncey's going just kind of like a, moving ahead a little bit. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's video where he had the Quaker Oats bar and shit was funny as hell. But anyway, so the first thing is, I'm only going to do the first round for this one, okay? So we're going to be grading each draft pick. And I'm going to say, who they probably should have selected instead. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to have a conversation about something else after that. So I'm not trying to, go through everything, okay? So we're going to do this right now. We're only doing this for the first round. I'm not doing this shit for all the picks, all right? So number one, the Tennessee Titans drafted Cam Ward, Miami, the best quarterback in the draft, arguably the best player in the draft, definitely an A+. I don't think you could have went anywhere else. The thing with Cam Ward is, okay, well, he had a great offensive line over in Miami. Can he sustain, because obviously Titans, they're pretty much in complete rebuilding mode. So the thing is, can he sustain his play with less available resources? Because that receiving room for the Titans, we got Treylon Burks, who I think is okay. I think they still got Westbrook Akine. Don't quote me on that. He's decent, but they don't really have too much star power over on Tennessee, to be honest with you. But I'm going to give this an A+ because the best quarterback in the draft, Titans are in complete rebuild mode. You can't go wrong. I don't know why they graded it lower than an A+, considering the fact that Titans actually needed a quarterback. Though I would say they don't have any receivers at this point in time. But that's neither here nor there. So the Jaguars. So hold on 1 second. So the Jaguars made the first trade of the night. So the Jaguars traded they swapped the first round picks. So the Browns ended up getting the 5th pick. They moved up to number 2. They gave up their first round pick for next year, which I didn't fucking understand. I don't think it was worth that much. They gave up their 2nd round pick. They gave up their 4th round pick for this year. So the Jaguars gave up their 2026 first round pick for next year. And for this year, they gave them their 2nd round pick and 4th round pick, right? I'm not going to go over what those picks are. It's just going to lengthen the damn video. Okay. So they moved up to grab Travis Hunter. I'm going to be honest with you. I felt they gave up too much to get the number 2 pick, to be quite honest with you. But I actually like the fact that they're getting Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, as you know, he can play both sides of the ball. And there's really going to be no excuse at this point in time for Trevor Lawrence to work. Now, because at the end of the day, I don't want to say the man's a bust, but he's too damn mid for all the hype he had coming out of college. Which I'm not saying wasn't well-deserved, because he was a bad motherfucker in college. Don't get it messed up. But at the end of the day, he's not really playing like it. And again, not the most ideal situation with the coaches, because he started off for Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was a terrible NFL head coach, and he got rightfully fired after that first year. But to keep it all the way thorough with you, man, he's just too damn mid for me, man. He got to be a much better player than what he's shown. Consider the fact that his offensive weapons and defense were decent enough for him to be able to at least make a conference championship at least one time. You understand what I'm saying? So, the coaching situation hasn't always been the most ideal, but in the same breath, I think Trevor needs to be much better than what he's been. He's just too mid for me. Okay, so they got Travis Hunter. I'm going to give this, I really want to give this an A, because I think Travis Hunter is a huge difference maker for that football team. It definitely gives something, a reason for the Jaguars to be excited. But them giving up a first round pick, I'm gonna have to kind of downgrade it to a B plus. So I'll give him maybe an 88 out of 100. If I were to grade on a scale from 1 to 100, I'm not really too big on trying to give up a first round pick, considering the fact that you guys they're low key in a semi rebuild mode because they're still keeping Trevor Lawrence. So the quarterback's still the same, but then in semi rebuild mode, I don't think it's smart considering the fact that I don't think there's a high likelihood you guys are going to make the playoffs to give up a first round pick that you can use for an offensive lineman to continue to build the team and get better. So they'll give them their next year's first round pick to move up to from number 5 to number 2. I get it. You wanted Travis Hunter, but I just don't like it. You know what I mean? So, okay, we're going to go back. So the third pick of the draft would have the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, or the little niggas. So the New York little niggas took Abdul Carter from Penn State. The little niggas, yeah, my little niggas growing up in the world. It take a village to raise a child. All right, so the little niggas. The little niggas selected Abdul Carter from Penn State. Off slow. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Fucked up my mic. So the little niggas decided it. I can really get through this damn video, y'all. The New York little nigga. Oh my god. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get serious. Alright. The New York Giants took Abdul Carter from Penn State. Give it an A plus. You get a generational talent at defensive end. Kind of see him like a Michael Parsons type role over there. And then you pairing him with Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, who I love Jalen Carter. I love Chris Jones. I love Quentin Williams. He's some bad motherfuckers, but Dexter Lawrence is the best defensive tackle in the league. You pairing him with those two, magic is definitely going to happen for sure. So I like the pick. I'm going to give that A plus for the Giants. Number 4, Will Campbell, offensive tackle from LSU. I loved his pre-draft. This is another thing that I'm sick and tired of hearing people saying. And this, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but they keep saying this shit. I'm tired of hearing it. When Will Campbell said, I'll die protecting Drake May, I actually thought it was cool as hell because it showed how passionate he was for, coming on the football team and really he wants to be an integral part of them winning. And he wants, saying that's him, he's taking, I don't want to say responsibility, but it's like, he know that being the first round pick, they want him to come in and perform at a high level right away. So for him to say that, I was cool with it. When these other niggas start saying, man, I die for this shit, man. I give my blood, I give my kidney for this shit, man. I give my eyeball for this shit. Man, shut the fuck up, bro. And it was a quarterback that said it too. Matter of fact, I'm gonna skip ahead. The motherfucking quarterback from Louisville that fucking the Saints took was like, I'll die for this shit. Man, shut the fuck up. You're not in the goddamn military, nigga. You got the refs on your side and you got an offensive line protect your dumb ass, and in certain packages, some wide receivers and a running back and a tight end. Shut the fuck up talking about you die. Nobody, nigga, the whole purpose is reason why all these goddamn flags be coming around like it's the goddamn World Cup and shit is to protect the quarterback. Shut the fuck up. All these people say, I'll die for this shit. Motherfucker, what you think you goddamn Day from Friday and shit? Bro, bro, the whole purpose of you is just to play a game. All this, I'll die for this. Like, when Will Campbell said it, I could tell it was coming from an authentic, genuine place. And I was cool with that. It was actually a really fun, cool moment. When these other niggas just start saying that they just sound fucking stupid. They're just trying to copy a trend. It just makes no sense. Like, as a quarterback, you don't have to die for fucking nothing. You have a offense for a reason, for O-line, the refs to help you, and you get certain packages, wide receivers, or running back, and a tight end. Shut the fuck up talking about you gonna die. Nobody asked you to do that. Motherfucker, you're not even gonna start. It ain't even guarantee you gonna start talking about you gonna die for this season. Nigga gonna be down from that fucking New Orleans Heat on that motherfucking bench, nigga. Fuck you talking about you gonna die, nigga. Shut your stupid ass up, nigga. Get that motherfucker some electrolytes. He be alright. Nigga get shot every day. You be alright. Anyway, so I like the pick. I'm gonna give it an A, especially when he did this. That I want to say post conference, but when he did his post draft speech, I thought it was really cool. So I'm gonna give it an A. They need offensive line help. I think the next step when you know that you have a quarterback that you believe in, which I'm not too impressed with Drake May, but maybe I'm wrong. You got to give him some offensive line. You got to be able to protect the quarterback and also help out your run game as well. So I like the pick. We're going to go Mason Graham, DT from Michigan. He was the best defensive tackle in the draft. I'm going to kind of give it a... Let me give this one a B+, because he is elite, and it is going to help... It is going to help Myles Garrett to an extent. So, like, yeah, I'll give it a B+. Number 6, Ashton Jeanty for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I'm trying to remember who the lady's name is from ESPN. Female football analyst. Trying to remember her name, because she said some stupid shit. And niggas was actually agreeing with her, too. Which I don't understand. Okay, Mina Kimes. So Mina Kimes said some really stupid ass shit. She said, so she compared the Giants situation to the situation with the Raiders, right? And she said why running back should not be getting taken. Hopefully I didn't erase what I needed to look at. She said that running back should not be taken in the top 5 because look at what happened with Saquon Barkley. The fuck are you talking about? Ezekiel Elliott, I think, went top 5 in his draft, and he had a really good, I'd say, first 4 or 5 years in the NFL. Not every situation, like, and then you look at Bijan Robinson, where he was drafted. I think it might have been outside the top 5, but I'm just saying. Bijan Robinson is a cornerstone for that franchise. Because she basically saying, well, if you don't have the situation for a running back like the Eagles had or like similar to that, you shouldn't be drafted a running back. You could say that shit for every fucking position. I could say, oh, I'm not going to, even though I need a quarterback, I'm not going to draft a quarterback right now because I don't have enough on the team. You build that over time. The worse you have a team you are, the more salary cap that you have. So when you're doing the trust in the process, right? It's a process. A process doesn't happen in 1 year. Okay? And the Saquon situation, even I would go far to say the Derrick Henry situation, it doesn't typically happen. These are Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are generational talent running backs. Okay? It doesn't always, like, they're you don't get those. You don't get running backs like Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley in like a decade. Like, it literally takes a decade for you to be able to hit on one, or maybe five years minimum to be able to find a guy, those guys of that stature, of guys that can really ball like they can. Those are future Hall of Famers. You don't get those. They don't happen in every draft, and it's literally once in a blue moon. Her argument is fucking stupid because you can literally say that for every position. Or I'm not going to draft this guy because I don't have all the pieces to my team to be able to be successful. It doesn't fucking matter. No process happens in 1 year. We were fortunate to have everything work for us. We got the right players, the right coach, even though I have my doubts. And everything in the organization blended well together to help us get to the Super Bowl and eventually come away Super Bowl champions. But to say that, oh, I'm not going to draft a running back top 5 because I'm still laughing about the fucking thing about Giants. But anyway, going back, trying to go stay on topic. It's just like what she said was just fucking stupid. It just makes no sense. Because you can literally argue that for every position. Oh, I'm not going to draft because I don't have the right ideal situation. You're never going to always have the right ideal situation, right? Even sometimes, Talk about the Chiefs. The Chiefs won with like a mediocre ass wide receiver core. You're not gonna always have everything A plus, right? We're fortunate to have a majority of this stuff A plus. 49ers at one point in time. The Lions at one point in time. Jets, even though whatever. But typically that doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be A plus in every position. There are going to be some weak areas or areas that, you know, you're significantly worse than most teams. You're not going to have it's just impossible. If you're able to draft well and do well in free agency, hats off to you. Or bandana, right? Bandana too, whatever. I'm not going to fuck with my shit. But anyway, but to say that, it really is stupid to me. Like, it makes no sense. So moving on from that, I'm going to give the Genty pick. I'm going to give it an A minus. The reason I'm not going to give it any higher than that is because the Raiders offensive line is kind of suspect right now. So, again, first off, I don't know why the fuck Pete Carroll decided to come back to coaching. I mean, this nigga been coaching forever, man. Go sit down and enjoy your goddamn family. They probably was annoying this shit out of him. He probably had ice cream. And you remember in the motherfucking Mike Tyson movie and shit when Customato went and Mike Tyson was like, who had my ice cream? You know what I'm saying? That's probably what was going on in his house. He probably was tired of that shit. Like, you know what, man? Hey, I'm just gonna go away and go coach. But honestly, there's no reason for him to be coaching anymore. He coached a long ass time. He was on USC, Seattle, maybe another team I'm not thinking of at this point in time. But he's coached for way too long. I don't know why he decided to come back. It just made no sense. He should have just stayed retired. But nonetheless, he's the coach. Pete Carroll likes to run the football, except for the Super Bowl when it matters the most. But he likes to run the football. And I think it was a good pick. I'm not going to give it any higher than an A minus because right now the Raiders offensive line is kind of suspect to me. And the receiving core is not very good either. So I think offensively they have a lot of work to do. So, but you know, you get the generational talent, Ashton Genty, that's to me it's the A minus. I'm not giving no lower than that. The Jets, I'm going to give this an A. They got Armin Membu from Missouri, offensive tackle. You're going to need guys to protect Justin Fields. I think the receiving core is not bad, especially with Garrett Wilson. I think a Lazard maybe or maybe not be on the team. Lazard's decent, even though he probably had his better days in Green Bay, but he's decent still. You know, I feel like and then also they picked up a really good tight end as well. So I feel like the Jets are in a good position from a weapon standpoint, and you still got Breece Hall as well. And you got a hell of a defense, and you got a guy who's a defensive-minded head coach. They should be moving in the right direction, but you got to get guys to protect Justin Fields. This gets an A. Matter of fact, I'll even go as far as to say an A plus for me. So this gets an A plus. I give it like a 97 out of 100. Teddy Atlas, Teddy Diarrhea. I don't know this nigga name. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to pronounce this. T. McMillan. We'll just leave it at that. Came from Arizona. I'm going to be honest with you. I seen this guy tape. I think he's all right. I don't think he's a great prospect. Also, you're kind of getting the same prototype with Xavier Legette. Xavier Legette is supposed to be the big body that's outside. You're kind of getting the same prototype. You want either a slot guy or somebody that can kind of like someone like a Devontae Smith, a smaller guy that can move inside the numbers, got the burners or whatever. You want a smaller, faster guy as a prototype. But I'm gonna give this a B because this could either turn out to be a really good pick and it could help Bryce Young, or this could turn out to be a really bad pick because I'm not really impressed with his film. I'm not really impressed with him as a player as much as everybody else is hyping him up to be. That's just my opinion. And then also I feel like that the Panthers need to be moving to a different type of an archetype for wide receiver. They need to be trending towards getting somebody that's smaller and faster rather than another big body because you already got that in Xavier Legette. But you know, I'm gonna give this a B. I'm not giving it no higher than that. This could either I'm gonna give it like an 83 out of 84 out of 100. This could either go really good and I'll be wrong, or this can go really, really bad. But I'm not entirely too impressed with him when I seen his tape. The New Orleans Saints, you guys are furthest away from the Saints, took Kelvin Banks Jr., okay? Mind you, Shador was still on the board. Took Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle from Texas. Now, granted, you can always never have enough offensive linemen. The better offensive linemen, but, you know, at this point in time, You either going to go a skill position, which I think you can try to trade back for more assets, or you just go grab Shedeur. And listen, I'm not going to sit up there and blame this on Kellen Moore because I don't know how much involved he was in the draft process. But for them to come out, they fucking Louisville, I don't know the nigga name. I'm not even going to try to find out what his name is. He threw a horrible fucking pass in the combine. He's known for throwing some bad passes in college. And his numbers were nowhere near Shedeur's. You're in complete rebuild mode. Derek Carr is on his way out. And even if he was playing, he doesn't do enough on the field to warrant keeping a starting position within these next 2 seasons. Shedeur was obviously the right pick, or you go another skill position in wide receiver. This shit right here was not it. At all. And again, no disrespect to the guy, he probably is a really good player. Hopefully he turns out to be a really good player. And you can't have enough offensive linemen, but skill position here was the move, and they did not go with it for whatever reason. So I'm going to give this a C+. I'm not going to give it a worse grade because, like I said, you could never have enough offensive linemen, but you definitely could have went in a different direction. Should have gotten Shedeur. I don't know what the fuck was going on there. So Ryan Poles. This is the motherfucking reason I'm not a Bears fan anymore. Look at this dumbass shit. So they got Colston Loveland from Michigan, who is pretty much a receiver tight end, and a nigga look like a backup wide, nigga like a 4th string wide receiver, all right? And he has blocking issues. The whole purpose of this draft and this offseason is to get guys that can protect, Caleb Williams. You still, as far as I know, have Clement on the team. Why the fuck would you spend your 10th pick on Colston Loveland? And on top of that, to make matters worse, not only did you not need a tight end, let's just say we'll give it a benefit of the doubt to say you need a tight end. Tyler Warren was right there from Penn State. He's right there. The fuck? Why would you get the best tight end in the draft? You're going to choose the guy that's nowhere and he can't, and his blocking needs some work. That makes no fucking sense. Zero. Ryan Poles is such a fucking idiot. Like this nigga does not know how to draft. He's good at breaking some free agents, but he does not know how to draft at all. I don't know who the fuck is there. They don't know how to draft. And then everybody was in, there was an award room and it was all looking like they were kind of like, they were looking at Ryan Poles like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, everybody was just like dead silent and shit. I'm like, I'll be dead silent. It'd be a funeral with that motherfucker. Ryan Poles a dumbass. Ryan Poles is stupid as hell. Anyway. Ryan Poles is fucking stupid. Walter Nolan, or you going James Pierce Jr. should have been the pick. They need more help at defense. I'm going to tell you something that they're going to avoid. And there's no respect to Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be a really good player with proper coaching. I think Ben Johnson, perfect coach. Very creative offensive mind. Very innovative. But I'm going to tell you something right now. The Bears do 2 things. They run the ball and play really good defense. That is the bread and butter of their organization. The fact that they keep trying to do all these twists and turns to try not to, do what that organization is known for is fucking ridiculous to me. Like, this is your bread and butter. Really good defense. Because I'm from Chicago. I watched Julius Peppers play, which I think is probably the most underrated football player in NFL history. I seen Julius Peppers. I watched Lance Briggs. I watched Charles Peanut Tillman. Okay? When Adrian Amos was here. Like, I see these guys. Okay? This is your bread and butter. James Pierce Jr. or Walter Nolan up that middle. There's no fucking reason to get... and then you didn't even get the best tight end available. Fucking dumbass. I'm telling you right now... I am so happy that after 2007, when they lost that goddamn Super Bowl to Colts, I was smart to realize this organization ain't going no motherfucking where. And hence, I was right. I'm so happy I'm an Eagles fan. I chose the right organization. Okay, so we're going to move on to number 11, Michael Williams from Georgia. Was he really the best player? And then you lost Drake Greenlaw. I think Jalen Walker would be a better pick. I don't really like this pick, I'll be honest. So the Colston Loveland thing, I'm going to give it an F. Because, you know, DT, you could have got James Pierce Jr., and you didn't even get the best tight end. The Bears pick is an F for me. Michael Williams, it's better options. Jalen Walker, you got another linebacker to replace Drake Greenlaw, or you could have went with James Pierce Jr. I don't like the pick. I'm gonna give this a C minus. I'm gonna give it a C because he could be a very good player with all said and done, but I'm not impressed. So number 12, Tyler Booker, guard from Alabama. You know what, man? That middle needs some help. Walter Nolan would have been a better pick. Like, Dallas, whatever. All bias aside, much better picks that he could have went to. I understand that offensive line, they did a lot of help in that department, but I don't like the pick. I think you go with a big time defensive player. You could have went with James Pierce Jr. to replace DeMarcus Lawrence, but not really. I actually would have went. Because the Cowboys were going to be sort of high because they didn't make the playoffs, I would have waited to grab edge in the second round. I would have went Walter Nolan with this pick here. You need a guy up the middle. Because, hell, we got Jalen Carter, you know what I'm saying? And Jomo and them boys, they coming up in the world. And then we got another guy, too, which I'll go over like right after this list. But I have to give this one, I'm going to give this one I'm dancing between a C and a C+. I'm going to give it a C. Because I think offensive line they need it, but they could have went with a better pick here in a different position. I really don't like it that much. Kenneth Grant from Michigan. If you're going to get a DT, man, why don't you go with Walter Nolan? But you know what? You can't get mad at that pick. You really can't. Just think about it. Where else they really going to go with this pick? You know what I mean? They could have went safety with Malachi Starks, but I don't know. I don't know if the DT was the most pressing need for Miami, but I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't hurt to get a guy that, that's really good up the middle. So I'm going to give this one like a C as well. I feel like they could have went in a different direction, but excuse me. Indianapolis Colts, which should have been, if you're going to go tight end, it should have been the Bears pick. Tyler Warren, I guess they need a tight end, whatever. I'm gonna give this like a C+. I don't know if tight end was the most bearing need here, but it is what it is. So Atlanta Falcons and this is another dumb motherfucker organization. Watch what they do. I'm gonna go over back to the trades. Watch what they do. Pay attention. So they get Jalen Walker an edge from Atlanta. Okay. Good pickup. I'm gonna give this an A. You never can have enough edge rushers and offensive linemen for sure. So I give that an A. But I feel like that could it went somewhere else. Nah, it's a good pick. I'll give it an A. Number 16, Walter Nolan. I'm gonna give this an A. Arizona got somebody in the middle, helps with Jonathan Gannon's defensive mind. I'm gonna give this an A for sure. Shamar Stewart, edge from Texas A&M. I would like to see them pick up Malachi Starks. I think their secondary is much more concerning than their edge. So I'm going to give this pick a B because defensively they need to rebuild. Hubbard retired, which I don't know why. I feel like he wasn't even in the league enough to be able to do that. And then Trey Hendrickson is kind of like have his foot halfway out the door. And they just paid T. Higgins and Jamar Chase big money. Plus, you got the contract with Joe Burrow. So, I'm not entirely mad at this pick. I have to give this a B. I give it like an 84 out of 100. I feel like that they could have went Malachi Starks here. I would have traded back some. Guard, Gray Zabel from North Dakota State, Seattle guy. You can never have enough offensive linemen, especially with Sam Darnold being over there. You're going to need guys to protect him. By the way, salute to Jalen Milroe for also getting drafted over there as well. Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. I'm not entirely sure if wide receiver was the most pressing need in his first round, considering the fact that your secondary was a little bit chopped liver. And I think you can also do a better job of rebuilding your linebackers. Levante David is getting older. Still a productive player, but he's still getting older. You don't have Devin White anymore. Maybe they could have traded up here. They could have traded something. But I don't know if this was really the right move. Hell, I would even went Malachi Starks. That secondary had a lot of injuries last year for sure. I would have went with a corner for sure. At least Denver's pick, I probably Jade Barron would have probably. So I'm gonna give this one a C. Not entirely sure if wide receiver is the most pressing need in this first round. Jade Barron, cornerback from Texas. I had a few thoughts. I feel like they could have went running back with Marion Hampton. But then I realized that the running back they picked up in the second round, who I don't remember, I think he's from UCF. He's actually had better production. So I guess I'm not mad at this pick, but again, like, I don't know. I would have went Malachi Starks here. Like, I feel like you have enough corners. I don't think they need any more corners. I feel like this is I'm gonna give this like a C plus, I guess. Derek Harmon from Oregon. Man, the pick should have been fucking Shedeur Sanders. What are we doing here, Pittsburgh? I mean, you have a gold opportunity here to get a quarterback who can throw to George Pickens and motherfucking DK Metcalf, and you about to waste it on fucking Mason Rudolph and waiting for fucking Aaron Rodgers watch the pass? Are we serious right now? Tommy, what you doing? GM of Pittsburgh, whatever the hell your name is. What you doing? What you doing? But nah, for real, like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, bro, this 21 should have been Shedeur. And maybe Derek Harmon's gonna be a good player. But I'm just saying, like, get fucking Shedeur in the building. Like, dog, what is this shit? So 22, Amari in hand. So the Derek Harmon pick, I'm gonna give this like a C because they should have went fucking Shedeur. They should have went a quarterback. It makes no sense. 22, Amari in Hampton. I don't like this pick. You got Najee Harris. You still got J.K. Dobbins. Or maybe they don't. I don't know. Because I thought he was I thought he was still on the team. But you're basically going to get the same prototype player as Najee Harris. This makes no fucking sense. You need to get wide receivers in that motherfucking building. So this is a terrible pick. I don't like this at all. I'm going to give this, I'm going to give it a D. I don't like this pick at all. They could have went wide receiver. Maybe could have added an edge because they lost Joey Bosa. They could have added James Pierce Jr. I would have been mad at all. But like this shit right here is just stupid. This is a bad pick by the Chargers. Horrible pick. You have Najee here. It's the same prototype run, the same power back. This is fucking stupid. 23rd, Green Bay. They got Matthew Golden. Now this should have been a Chargers pick right there. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. Harbaugh, like I don't get it. Like what's going on here? This is why I said that I was hesitant about Harbaugh being a coach over there because they don't need to be a run heavy. Oh, I'm really good defense. That's not what they need. They need to be able to allow Justin Herbert to chuck that ball in that motherfucking field. They don't need this little fucking like this little West Coast run heavy offense. I don't like it. That's why I didn't like Jim Harbaugh becoming the coach over there in the first place. I don't like this pick. They definitely should have went with Matthew Golden, which was the Green Bay pick. Fuck the Green Bay Packers and fuck Mark Murray. But anyway, Mark Murphy, whatever that fuck that fat nigga name is. Yeah, but I guess it's a good pickup. I'm gonna give this an A because I guess you know what I'm saying, like, cool. You know, like I'm not opposed to it. You're getting more help for Jordan Love. I'm not mad at it. They could have went offensive line here as well. I'm gonna give this a A minus. I'm not mad at this pick. Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State. You need guys to protect JJ McCarthy, whoever's gonna be the quarterback over there. I'm not upset with this pick whatsoever. I'm gonna give this a B plus. I'm not upset with it. I'm kind of indifferent to it. Jackson Dart. So let me tell you some dumbass shit that just happened. So let's go over back to the trades. Okay, let's go over some trades real quick. So the Giants. This makes no fucking sense. They didn't need another first round pick. So the Giants gave up their second round pick, their third round pick, and another third round pick. You just overpaying. Why the fuck? Like this makes no sense. For Jackson Dart. Woo-hoo! Shedeur is still on the motherfucking board. Shedeur is, hold on. Whatever, fuck it. Shedeur was still on the board. Still on the board! And let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you the glazing. First off, Jackson Dart, his throws were not bad. He came from Ole Miss. He's not bad. But better than Shedeur? And then I had the nerve to say, oh my God, he runs like Josh Allen. This nigga run like the motherfucking hunchback of Notre Goddamn. This how this nigga was running on tape, and they would say he runs like Josh Allen. By the way, I say Shador, he's not athletic. Shador's actually runs a decent, much better than fucking Jackson Dart. This how this nigga was running. They was glazing nigga talking about something. He the next Josh Allen. Watch this. This the motherfucker they said. Hold on. This the motherfucker they said. This how this nigga was scrambling. I kid you not. I swear to God on everything I love. This how this nigga Jackson Dart was scrambling. Watch this. Other nigga was a big ass doing ballet and shit. The fuck? The nigga act like he got a big ass like hiking backpack when he run. He just oh my God, this is Josh Allen. Oh shit. Oh, the NFC version of Josh Allen. Oh, so much better than Hurts the running back. Oh shit. Oh my God. The fuck out of here, dog. On that bullshit. The fuck? Talk about something. Man, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Yeah, talk about that horrible pick, and they get an F. No reason to come back in the first round, considering the fact that I'm out of breath. Considering the fact that they already. All right. Considering the fact that they already picked, they pick in the first round. By this time, it's a good chance that if Pittsburgh passed on them, you're going early in the second round. Pick a fucking Shador in the second round. This gets an F. An F. And I would have more respect if they would have went for Arch Manning. You gave up way too much assets, and you need all of them because the New York Giants are ass. F. Atlanta, let me tell you another dumbass organization. I gotta look up who the motherfucking GM is. Matter of fact, I ain't doing all that. Fuck him. Ain't got time to do all that shit. So, the Atlanta Falcons unnecessarily decided to move back up in the first round. Who the fuck asked her to do this? I mean, I think whatever that ecstasy, whatever that goddamn drug they was taking, I think it hit at the right, whatever the situation may be. All right. So, Atlanta traded their second round pick, their 7th round pick, and next year's 1st round pick. Motherfucker, you think you the goddamn Detroit, like, think you the Eagles and you can just do that shit? Your team still got holes in there, motherfucker. They still got holes in there. You see my eyes? They got holes in there. They got holes in there. Where's Shia LaBeouf at, nigga? They got holes in your team, nigga. The fuck is you talk about? Why would you give me your last move up for fucking James Pierce Jr.? You drafted a linebacker edge already. And you got a decent defensive end already. What the fuck are you doing? You can wait till the second round. There's still good defensive ends in the second round. Ding ding. Dumb motherfuckers. These niggas is just so stupid. You gave up all of this shit? Oh, they got a 3rd round pick. Oh my God. And I think the Broncos, we ended up giving that to the Broncos later on. But this is just fucking stupid. They get an F for this. They ran for, like, what the fuck you think you was getting? Reggie White, nigga? Really, boy, he's a very good player. I like James Pierce Jr. Not to give him my fucking 1st round pick and give him all my assets when my team is not complete. The fuck are we doing? What are we doing? This is fucking stupid. Get an F for this shit. Baltimore drafted Malachi Starks. The man needs some receivers. I mean, at this point in time, y'all motherfuckers just want Lamar Jackson to throw the ball to himself. Okay? Now, granted, they needed help in their secondary, so I'm going to give this a C+. But they could have went corner here. Another receiver would be nice. Which they didn't pick up really no receivers, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't like this pick. I feel like they could have went a different direction. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm gonna give this a matter of fact. I'll give it a B minus because you pair it here with Kyle Hamilton. I'll give it a B minus. It could have went differently, but it's all good. Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle for Ohio State. Doesn't hurt to get a guy up the middle. Kind of indifferent to it. I'm gonna give it like a C plus, just because I really don't know too much about this guy, and I'm off the top of my head. Excuse me. I don't know what's a glaring need. Excuse me again. I don't know what's a glaring need for Detroit right now. Detroit just got to stay healthy. So I don't know. I'm indifferent to it. I'm going to give it a C+. 29, Josh Connolly Jr., offensive tackle for Oregon. You're going to need as many guys to protect Jaden Daniels as much as possible. You can't go wrong with this pick. However, the last pick was much better than this one. I would have went, but it's all good. Okay. Maxwell Harris, steady cornerback for the Bills. The Bills had a lot of injuries, and their secondary needs a lot of help. I'm not mad at this pick. So the Connolly thing, I'm gonna give it a B plus. The Harrison thing, I'm gonna give it a B plus as well. I'm not upset with this pick. The Eagles, so we gave up so let's go to the fifth. We gave a 5th round pick and we swapped picks. So the Eagles received the 31st pick, so we swapped with the Chiefs, which I would have never did that shit, especially after losing my fuck y'all, I ain't swapped with nothing. swap this fucking sperm in your mouth, pause. But anyway, so they get a 5th round pick and they got Josh Simmons. Did we give him 2 5th round picks? I don't think so. Whatever. I feel like we gave him 1. So that ended up being Josh Simmons. So for them, they took the really good offensive tackle. They get an A plus for me and Jahad Campbell. I'm not gonna lie to you. When we made our selection, I'm like, who? But I'm like, you know what? I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, who the hell is that? Like, what the fuck? Like, because I wanted Will Howard at the time. Will Howard was dealing with some injuries. Like, what the fuck is like? Oh hell no! Then I thought about it. Wait, is that the linebacker from Alabama? Then I seen this nigga tape. I said, oh my god. I want to keep Nakobe Dean, but if anything happens, it's in the Bryce Huff situation. We got a linebacker edge rusher combo, and Vic Fangio knows exactly what he's doing. He knows the strength of his players. This motherfucker's a beast. He can blitz. He can cover. Everything and anything you want this man to do, he can do. And it's crazy because Howie does not draft linebacker at all. We took the best linebacker to draft, quite arguably the best defensive player to draft. I mean, this guy, when I tell you he can do everything, he can do everything. He slipped because he had some injury concerns, but I don't know. I would have took a chance on him, just keeping it real. This is a bad. You're a bad motherfucker. I get this an A plus. Because you don't know what's going on with the Kobe D situation, and then Bryce Huff is on his way out. You can put him to edge rusher. Like, it's so much shit you can do. But I trust Vic Fangio's judgment for sure. This is an A plus for me, and the Chiefs get an A plus as well for their offensive line pick as well. So that's it. So now I want to talk about the Shedeur Sanders situation real quickly before we move on to talk about our pick specifically. There's a lot of y'all talk about some. Well, this wasn't racist because, Cam Ward got selected number 1. Look how many black quarterbacks there is. And I'm like, say still, y'all got to shut the fuck up because this is about, I love my country at the end of the day. Not a lot of places like America. So I ain't got time for motherfuckers when I say what I'm saying. Yeah, so we heard your comments in the video. We were thinking about joining, an organization. No, the only organization that I'm joined to is the jobs that I work out throughout the week. That's about it. So I ain't got time to hear that shit. But there's a lot of racial issues in America. There's a lot of systematic racism that's taking place to this day. And the Shedeur Sanders situation, and the situation that happened with the NFL, how they treated Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders and his family and all that situation. Here's the thing. They wanted to make an example out of him. They wanted to tell a young, strong, confident black man. It reminds me of, I think it was Venus. Venus Williams did an interview. And, the interview was asking, why you say that you're going to win so confident? Why you say you're going to beat this girl? I don't remember what the girl's name was. And then the father came and she said, No, he said, she answered it with enough confidence, leave her alone. And thinking about this Shador situation is how I think about Shador's situation reminds me of that situation with the Venus interview and her father intervening. There's systematic racism in this country. And it's probably some other areas too, but I'm talking about specifically the U.S. The image of a strong, young, confident black man is constantly put down and tarnished. It's constantly discouraged. And yes, I do agree that Dion and Shador could have moved differently throughout this process and probably could have been approached the situation a little bit more humble. Because you can't necessarily, you're not going to tell a team like, yo, my son ain't getting drafted here. You can't say that, right? You can say it, but you don't have control over that situation much as you think that you do. Okay? So that was already regular. Oh, hell no. And then Shador, I understand his reasonings for it, but he probably was a good idea to just go to the combine. It's like, it's not that serious. Now, while I can agree that the situation could have been handled differently throughout this draft process, I am not going to be oblivious and to act like that what took place this weekend was acceptable or fair. It was wrong. The NFL was wrong for what they did to Shador. That young man had the credentials. He took 2 not so great football programs in Mississippi State and Jackson State and in Colorado, who were mediocre before he came on the team. And he led them to a decent amount of wins and put up some pretty damn good stats. His career college stats was not bad. Is he perfect? No. Who the fuck is? But you know what? He was damn sure good enough to get picked by Pittsburgh, by New York, by the Browns, waited to the motherfucking 5th round. This is about making an example out of them. To let people know, hey boy, stay in your place. Instead of saying shut up and dribble, shut up and throw. You don't run this over here, boy. That's what it's about. Putting the Sanders family in their place, let them know they're not bigger than the shield. And we ain't talking about Captain America's. That NFL shield, you need an opportunity from us, not the other way around. We don't need you, you need us. That was the mentality. That was the message that was being sent. And it's fucked up. It's really fucked up because that young man earned it. He earned it. New Orleans should have had him. The Giants should have had him. And also, here's another thing too. I y'all saying, oh, the Giants are racist because look, they got Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. They're temporary, first and foremost. Number 2, they're not there to be the face of the franchise. Okay? They're not there to be face of the franchise. They're not there to be long-term quarterbacks. They're backups. Okay? We're talking about Jalen Hurts. Talking about Lamar Jackson. Faces of the franchise for the future. That's what we're talking about. And then somebody said, hey, Dexter Lawrence said, no, he's not. No, he's not. And it's not no shade towards him because he's a very integral part of this football team. But the face of the franchise is always the quarterback. The quarterback is always considered the leader of the football team. That's the person that gets the most conversation is the quarterback. So no, it's not true. Then I would say Jalen Carter is the face of the Eagles, and it's just as great as he is and an integral part of his football team he's not. Dexter Lawrence, very important to the Giants organization, is not the face of that franchise. In fact, you would have put probably Saquon over him at that point in time when he was there. So no, it's not true. Here's the thing. Shador's not a felon. He's not a criminal. He's not on drugs. He's not doing illegal shit. He didn't get arrested for a DUI. Just an extremely confident young man who sometimes come off a little brash. But you know what? Like I said in my last video, human beings don't experience the same things. We're not all the same. And that's what people are not understanding. It's okay to not be the same. According to the NFL, it's not. Know your place, boy. That was the message that was being sent. So they was willing to take quarterbacks that were underqualified to make sure that Shedeur did not get picked early. So they didn't have to pay him. 5th round, you're not getting a lot of money. Lucky for Shedeur, he's already, he got money. He ain't starving for money, so it's not like. But the question is, what if he was? I'm not saying you don't get paid zero. You have to don't get paid zero. But I'm just saying, but what happened to this weekend with Shedeur was unacceptable. It was a display of racism, and I don't care about who says otherwise. I don't give a fuck. That young man should have been picked by Pittsburgh, New Orleans Saints, or the Giants. Ain't excusable. 5th fucking round? The 5th round. What are we doing here? But the Browns got him in the 5th round. And first off, congratulations to Shedeur for getting drafted in general. But my question is, for the Cleveland Browns, talk about horrible PR. Horrible PR training. Give you an example. So, they made a comment. I didn't go get a chance to see what was going on in the war room. So, there was a reporter that said, hey, you guys didn't seem too happy about your draft pick by Shedeur. You guys seemed like you was a little bit disinterested. The right response would have been, we're excited about everybody that gets drafted to our football team. They're a part of our family. Every draft pick is valuable to us. The people that we already have on the team and people that we're bringing on. That's what you're supposed to say. You defend your draft pick. This is what the response was, which tells me everything I need to know. I don't need to know shit else. Oh, it's been a long night. And then the coach was like, don't read too much into that. The fuck? That's your response? We're very happy that Shedeur is a part of our football team. We love that he's here. That's how the fuck you respond. Not that bullshit that you just spewed on the fucking mic. You better off just shutting the fuck up and just being silent. Jesus Christ. Hopefully Shedeur ends up getting a starter job in Cleveland. But they don't fucking deserve him. They don't deserve nothing good. They don't even deserve Myles Garrett. They're a shitty organization. They're horrible. Terrible ass organization. And they're lucky that they got Shedeur, because I would say fuck the Browns, but it is what it is. Horrible fucking organization. So is the Giants. And all of them deserve all the failures that they get. I'm rooting for Shedeur. That's about it. But all the failures that they get, the losing seasons, the early draft picks, they deserve that shit. All of it. They deserve their fucking mediocre position. Now, let's go to, but long story short, not trying to change the subject too fast, that was bullshit. Okay, I talked for a long ass time. There's 2 things I want to go over. So first I want to go over our draft picks. I want to quickly go over our undrafted free agents. I want to talk about something else that happened. Matter of fact, we'll do that right now. So a lot of people were upset about Saquon Barkley going to the White House with Trump, and Jalen Hurts elected not to go do the scheduling conflicts. We already know that. We already know the real reason behind it, but you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. I mentioned about Chauncey's funny ass video that I found was hilarious. And then Elon Rick's ass is wild and talking about damn, I didn't know Ivanka Trump was that far. I'm like, all right. He's like, damn, she my taste. I'm like, okay. All right, bro. Yeah, do your thing. It is what it is. But I would have, whatever. I'm moving on from that. But here's the thing. Saquon's a grown ass man. If he felt like, I wanted to go, and he wasn't the only one that went, so they got the invite. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. How you feel about the president, how you feel about it. I'm not, I don't hate Saquon because of it. You know what I mean? I just don't. I'm not going to say my opinion is, because, at the end of the day, there are millions of people on this planet. millions of people in this country. Y'all decided that this guy deserved to be our president. And I'm going to leave it at that. This is y'all motherfucking choice. Y'all made the choice. What you want me to say about it? I ain't saying shit. Y'all made a choice. Y'all made a choice. It is what it is. Not saying the other candidate I was necessarily too high on either, but y'all made the choice y'all did. Y'all live with y'all fucking choice. I mean, y'all niggas come crying. No, y'all made a choice. All right. So let's go over our draft picks real quick. So we got Jahad Campbell. Give that an A+. We got Andrew Makuba from safety from Texas. He's a small dude, but pause. He's small in stature, but I think that his tackling. I watched his tape. His tackling could be improved. He is a willing tackler and he is a hard hitter and he got a lot of toughness. He's very physical, but I do feel like his tackling technique can be cleaned up a little bit because if you're always going for the big tackle or whatever, I feel like the technique could be improved in that area. Dude is a ball hawk. I think he was like tied for first in the FBS. He had like 5 interceptions last year, so he's definitely a ball hawk. He has like corner-like vision for the ball, which is really good. He's kind of like a C.J. Gardner-Johnson clone to an extent. But I actually like this pick. I think at the end of the day, Malachi Starks would have been my ideal first-round pick, but I'm not mad at Jahad Campbell getting the best linebacker in the country. Probably arguably the best defensive player in this class. And then you pair with Andrew Makuba, who, he's learning under Vic Fangio. Christian Parker's a hell of a DB coach. So with development, I think he's going to be a really, really good player. And I'm going to give this a B for right now. And the reason being because I don't know what he's going to materialize into. It's either going to be like he continues to get better or we're reaching. So I don't know. I'm not mad at this pick. Once the people make I've been saying this is a reach. I'm like, no, the fuck it wasn't. We had to grab him. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was gonna get him. So I like to pick at the second round. So I think we made a trade. We traded I think out of the third round. Let me just double check real quick. I just want to. The Bills give a lot of fucking picks. That was stupid as shit. That was really dumb. Give a lot of picks. I don't know why I did that. When do we pick? Whatever, but we traded out of the third round. Yeah. We traded our 96 pick, and they got Atlanta got Watts as well. And we ended up getting their fifth round pick and number 101. Okay. So let's go back to this one. At the fourth round, so we guess we trade out of the third round altogether. The fourth round, pick number 111, we got Ty Robinson from Nebraska. Very good player. Very good player, very productive player. And his RAS scores are off the charts. I really, really like this pick. Milton Williams left. So you got a big hole in the defensive tackle position. You get a guy who is extremely athletic. I think he ran like a 4.8, 4.9 or some shit like that. Little small. He's like 288 pounds, but I like this pickup a lot. I'm going to give this a A+. I think this was very good. It filled the void. So for sure, I like this pick. Mac Williams, I'm not too high on. He got some good things, but he's kind of a smaller corner. He's a nickel corner. A lot of people really hated this pick. Just to understand this as well. We need a backup nickel corner for Cooper DeJean. And some of y'all was talking about we need wide receivers. Why the fuck would we just sit up there and say, oh yeah, fuck you, Anaya Smith. Fuck you, Johnny Wilson. We're not going to give you an opportunity. Also, we have other receivers in the building. So you have to give the guys. Here's the problem with y'all. You can't just it's not like a pair of shoes or a car. You can't just get new players just for the fuck of it, right? You have to understand. People say, well, we should got another edge rusher. You're not going to ignore Nolan Smith. He deserves the opportunity to get a bigger role. You're not going to ignore Jalix Hunt. The purpose of you drafted is that, so what they didn't pan out in 1 year. By the way, both of them were terrific and they got better over the year. But you're not supposed to just discard the players that you drafted last year. You got to give them, especially if they earned it, you got to give them an opportunity. And on top of that, we got two pretty damn good free agents playing the edge. So we're really set in that department. So that shit was just stupid. So the McWilliams thing, I'm not too wowed by. Somebody said we should also got a running back, and I'm like, that's not necessary because we got Shipley and we got AJ Dillon. This makes no sense. So I'm not too high on this pick. I'm gonna give it a C minus. I'm just not too high on this pick, just being honest with you. Small Mandan Samil, whatever his name is, he came from Georgia. I think he was teammates with one of the Georgia players that's currently on here right now. Productive player, kind of a one-trick pony, kind of one-dimensional as a situational pass rush. He's got injured a lot, so he's the 5th pick at 161. I'm not mad at it per se. You're getting more linebacker depth. I'm gonna give this like a B minus, a B to a B minus. I'm gonna give it a B because if he stays healthy, he could definitely be a nice depth piece at the linebacker position. And then since we got Fancy, we drafted more linebackers, so that's cool as hell. So Drew Kendall, center guard from Boston College, pretty good player. I would say the guard position I don't see right now because he mostly played most of his snaps at the center, only allowed 1 sack. So he's actually a pretty decent player. I'm gonna give this a A minus, and the reason I'm gonna give it A minus because we need a backup center. You can't just use Landon Dickerson. We need a backup center for Cam Jurgens. So I'm cool with this pick. I have no problems with it whatsoever. Okay, and we got the 6th round pick, Kyle McCord. I really don't like this pick, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, I know we're not about to demote Tanner McKee now. Tanner McKee better be playing quarterback, so I know we're not going to use him. Now, very good football player. Actually was but he had a really, really good season over at Syracuse. So don't get it screwed up. Not the it's like a Tanner McKee clone to an extent, right? And round 6, number 181, I believe that's the pick. He's a pretty good player. I just hope that nothing happens with the Tanner McKee situation because we got Dorian Green Robinson, and then we have Tanner McKee. So I don't know why we would need 4 quarterbacks, but hopefully Tanner McKee doesn't go on because I want him to stay for as long as possible. Offensive tackle, round 6, pick number 191, Miles Hinton. Nothing really to talk about, just a good player. We'll see how good he is later on, but he's just going to Stoutland University. Cameron Williams, offensive tackle from Texas. We need more offensive tackle depth. I'm not mad at it. So any offensive lineman, really, I'm just going to grade it like a B because it could turn out to be really good or it could turn out to be that they're not very good. Now, Antoine Powell-Ryland, that was our last draft pick, round 6 at number 209. So with this pick right here, the dude was actually a very productive player. Kind of a one-trick pony, a little bit more one-dimensional, but he was a very, very productive player. His testing wasn't out of this world, but sometimes it just doesn't even matter. Like, just because you test bad does not mean you're going to be a bad NFL player. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at this pick. I actually like the pick. And again, you get more depth of that edge position, the offensive line. So we'll see as time goes along. So the last thing I'm going to do for this video before we conclude everything, Jesus Christ, this will be as long as fuck. We're going to do the undrafted free agents. Okay, so we got Taylor Mann. He's a wide receiver at Wake Forest. I believe he holds the all-time receiving yards, and he has 17 yards per punt return. So he's like a wide receiver punt returner as well. We got Holland Pierce. So he's 6'8", 341 pounds from Rutgers. He's a little bit of an older prospect at 24 years old. He had 1 sack allowed. Needs to work on his power. He has an 88-inch wingspan, and he improved every year, so that's good. We got Shandrick Powell, running back from Central Arkansas. Very small guy, but very, very productive. He didn't do a great job in the shuttle and the 3-code, so his RAS scores a little bit down. But despite being small, he was a very, very, very productive player as well. Lance Dixon from Toledo. Bounced around from Penn State and West Virginia. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He's a safety that was converted to a linebacker. I'm not too hot on this guy, pause, but I could be wrong as well. So we'll see, but I'm not too crazy about this guy. Maxon Hook from Toledo. Very productive player. Had 7 interceptions over the last 3 years. Was an all-MAC player 3 times. Very good player. Like, he had 107 tackles, 2 interceptions. He's just not very fast and not very athletic. So his tested score is a little bit down. But he's actually a very, very good football player as well. So he's going to kind of provide some kind of competition for the backup safety spot. Maybe be a practice squad player. Who knows? But he's a very productive player nonetheless. Okay, so we're going to go with Brandon Johnson at Oregon. He's a cornerback, very small at 5'9", 179. 45 tackles, 6 pass breakup attempts, whatever you want to call it. His RAS is okay, but nothing to write home about. The last 2 of them? So Mentrell Johnson from Florida. Really, really good football player. RAS score was... Actually, no. Very good football player for Florida. He had a really monster season last year for Florida as well. Could do both, catch out the backfield and run the football. The problem is he got drops issues, but honestly, this might be a sleeper. He was ranked on Down These Things as the 26th best running back, number 240 overall prospect. So we might have a jewel here in this Florida running back. So minicamp invites was Darius Lassiter, BYU wide receiver. Malik Carr, tight end from Houston, and Joseph Vaughn, linebacker for UCLA. Okay, so that's pretty much it. By the way, congratulations to also Shiloh Sanders for being an undrafted free agent going to the Buccaneers. That's somebody I feel like we could have picked up as well. But it is what it is. Just to add some more competition in the safety room. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got for y'all. All right? So that's it. I'm going to try to get this video out ASAP. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I hope y'all enjoy yourselves, man. I had fun having this conversation, but I got to end this video, all right? More music's on the way. I don't have the details of when and how, but it's on its way, and hopefully it's going to be coming this week. So y'all just stay tuned, all right? I'm going to try to have a remix out. I'm going to also try to have a... whatever. Y'all get the gist. Y'all get it. All right, I'm out of here. Please! Wait.